What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Talk. We're just gonna call it the Real Talk Show, all right? Because at this point, this is a show. It's not even a podcast. We do it all: conversations, interviews, news, get to know us, right? Comedy, all of it, relationships. So it's all about whatever is brought to the table, whatever is needed to be talked about, whatever y'all want to hear. So that's how we rolling right now, all right? But welcome back, y'all. We made it past episode 10. I'm super excited because we have. I get it, it's not so many episodes, but man, if you can make it past 10, you feel like you can keep going for a really long time. Period. Right? And there's just so many conversations to be had. So, exactly. But y'all, let's welcome back Sierra Andrews.
I'm a regular guest.
For real. Honestly, to be honest, I just love conversation. So sometimes I like to be on here by myself if it's something I feel I want to share personally. But a lot of the time, it's going to be conversation because I love hearing people's point of view. I'm a conversationalist, and I like for y'all to hear other people's point of view as well, not just my own, because sometimes I don't have all the knowledge, I don't have all of the experience, and so for me, I'd rather be able to have y'all hear,
somebody else's perspective. Yeah,
exactly. So
got it.
I appreciate y'all. But how you been?
I've been good. How you been?
I've been good. Tell people what's new with you. Anything new?
What's new with me? Pretty much just continuing to put my business out there. If you don't know, I do have a cosmetic line called Luxuriant Beauty Cosmetics. If you don't or haven't got your lip gloss yet, head over to the website and the Instagram. Just working on some new colors to put out for the ladies, for the girls. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, just focusing on my goals, and I'm figuring out what's my next steps with my different colors and what else I want to put out for the girls. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Okay,
currently.
That's what's up. I like that. I like your hair, by the way.
Thank you. I look like El DeBarge.
Oh my god.
This headphone got me looking like El DeBarge. Okay.
Y'all, tell us you don't look like El DeBarge. You don't look like El DeBarge.
Thank you.
Are you excited for the holidays coming?
Yeah, I love the holidays. I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. I don't know, it just gets you into like a family, I don't know, because I'm a big family person, but I love holidays.
Too. I think I'm excited for the decorating.
Yeah.
But even though,
I don't really care about the gifts more. I just like the decorating. And
what's funny though? I don't really decorate. I love the decorating, but I don't really decorate. Like before I lived with somebody, I never really decorated, but I love the decorating.
Yeah, I like to I actually like to do the decorating.
Yeah. Christmas was lit last year.
Yeah.
Tree was bomb.
Yeah. I know. Side note. But
it was I love the holidays, and especially so here in Florida it rains all year long. I think even 2 years ago or last year it rained on Christmas Day. And then later on people were in the pool. Tell me that's not backwards.
Florida for you. Only in Florida can you get away with that.
Who goes to the pool on Christmas Day?
Florida. Let's say Florida, not Florida.
No, that's awesome. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang, the year has gone by fast.
It has. It was just January 2022. That's scary how fast the year has been.
Oh my gosh. 2022.
We're going into 2023.
Oh, I feel like it was just 2021.
Whew, slow down. Slow down.
Not only, it's not even thinking about just like the aging, it's like time is really not on your side. Like that's like it's kind of scary.
It is,
thinking about it. Actually,
it's like everything. I feel like right now everything is like fast forward. Like it's not going at a steady pace. It's just like
it's just if you think you're ahead of it, you're not.
Yeah.
Like that's the unfortunate part. It's like, I'm doing good. No, but you still ain't. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Wow. And then you really think about the things you want to achieve, and you be like, well, I have enough time. But then when you really think about it, you really don't.
Time is not, like you said, not on your side.
You don't have a lot of time.
Right.
Wow. That's kind of scary.
It's very scary.
Because when you were younger, it was like, oh, your life is ahead of you.
Right. Or you hear people say, like, you have your whole life ahead of you. Like, you have all the time in the world. But no, you don't.
Exactly.
If
but when you think about it, life is actually right now.
Exactly.
You have what's right now. Because tomorrow isn't promised. So do you really have your whole life ahead of you?
It's not.
Sheesh. Wow.
That's deep.
For real. So I wanted to get into a topic of something I heard on a different podcast that I thought was really interesting. So for y'all don't know, I listen to a lot of other podcasts of all different kinds, all different kind of people. And there's a lot of good conversation out there. I think a lot of people have a lot of good point of views.
Right.
And I found one that wasn't necessarily controversial, but I think people don't elaborate enough on. And mainly because I think society is so different nowadays than it was even 5 years ago, that it's kind of obscure for people to be like, to say what I'm about to say. Okay, so pretty much the conversation was explaining that it's like, stop telling people they are enough when they're not. So meaning, you know, everybody is like, okay, life is hard, and, you know, people may try you, or you may go through trials and tribulations. You are enough. Yes, in that sense, you are. But don't lie to people and say you're enough, in the sense, if you know where that person wants to be, stop telling them that they're enough, because if they're enough, they would have been there already.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And instead of saying, no, you're enough and you're doing well, which is, yeah, you are doing well, but there's something that you're not doing to get you where you want to be. Right. You see what I'm saying? And that can be in life and relationships and jobs, careers, whatever. It's kind of saying like, I'm not going to baby you, and I'm not going to coddle you and say, you know what? No, it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine, when really in reality, you go home and you're like, they just don't got it. You know what I mean?
Right,
like don't go say something you're not going to tell it to their face, because now you're not helping them in that situation. And I realize society today is so like offensive over every little thing that you can't tell them the truth.
Right.
Therefore, that's why a lot of people are settling so soon.
Right.
And I'm like, that's real. Like, when you really think about it, because people can't even joke about themselves no more. And in the sense of like, if you can't joke about yourself, I think sometimes it's just because you don't know who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I get that being offensive if somebody else says something and you're like, why would you say that? But if you can joke about certain things and be like, okay, there is some validity to that joke. Yeah. But you know who you are. So whether it's good or bad, you're going to take it. Right. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I have many perspectives on that topic.
Let's hear them.
I think it depends on who it's coming from sometimes too.
For sure.
Because
for sure.
Some people they don't want to help you. They don't want to see you at a different level. So sometimes people would say certain things, even if they don't tell you you're not enough, their actions will show. Like you said, they'll say, oh, okay, cool, you're good. But on the back scene, they be like, okay, well, she ain't got it. She ain't doing this, that, and third. But when you really care about people, you intentionally want to see people grow and get to the next level, you'll speak life into people. Right. It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's at a different level in their life, but I feel like if you have something to pour into somebody, you should definitely do it. For sure. So like I said, if it's somebody that really care about you enough to be like, okay, cool, sis, bro, like, come on now, I see this, I know you have these goals, I know you want to do this, so you need to get off your and you need to go get it. Real. You know what I'm saying? And I can respect somebody like that, even if I might be like, oh, like, or I might shed a tear or two, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to understand, it's a lot of people in this world that's not real. You know, they don't like to keep it a buck. Right. They don't like to keep it 100. This is my slang.
It's not, I think you have to explain that.
But if you understand, you understand. If you know, you know. But when I say that, like, they don't like to keep it 100. And when I say that, they really would lie to your face, either two reasons: to keep you in to keep you at a certain level, because either they don't genuinely want to see you grow, or you know, they want to see, if they say something, they want to see you grow, they want to see you reach your goals, or especially if you're holding them accountable. You know what I'm saying? You have to have accountability partners sometimes. So if you tell them a goal or a dream that you have, don't get mad when they come to you and be like, okay, well, you told me this. Why is this not done by this, that, and the third? So that's different. Like, yeah. I can get that.
But some people even take that offensive, though. Because some people don't like being told what to do, but then it's like, right, don't share your goals with me if you don't want somebody to push you. Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, you can't get upset at the end of the day, because if that person has your best interest and you want them to hold you accountable, then
at the end of the day, you're going to understand the heart behind it.
For
You're
sure.
going to understand that, okay, well, this person is trying to help me. This person is trying to look out for me, and they have my best interest at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's a person where, like I said, they're just coming at you like, you like, they just, even if you're trying, I don't know. It's so many ways to look at the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you are doing your best and they just never, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, you're doing good, but I feel like you should do this. They try to help you, become better.
Right.
Then I just feel like you being a hater. Like, come on now. Like, I feel like if you have valuable information, if you are a teacher, if you're somebody.
Say that one more time. Who's being the hater? Yourself or the other person?
No, the other person. Like, for example, right? So you're doing your thing. You're putting your goals out there, right? But at the same time, like, okay. So let me rewind back. Two things.
Okay.
Like, that's why I said I look at it in different aspects or a different perspective, because you can literally be doing your thing and somebody has something more than you, but you know what I'm saying, they don't want to tell you, oh, well, you're doing good at this, but I think you should do this, you know what I'm saying, or even try to pour into you, because some people really genuinely don't want to see you grow. Right. So they won't pour into you and they won't help you with your goals and stuff like
question,
that.
if they're saying, if you're doing good and then they say, well, I think you should do this, is that necessarily a bad thing? Or
not
are you saying it in a way of like,
because if you're a type of person that you always have an opinion but you never help.
Got you. I see what you're saying.
It's a lot of people that has a lot of opinions, but they never show up. They don't know how to show up. They never show up. They never around. They're only around to give their opinion.
Right.
So you're a hater, because at the end of the day, even if, because some people genuinely be doing their stuff, but you only come around to give an opinion,
right?
Versus pouring into me like, oh, good job, sis. Oh, but I got some ideas, like, and doing that on a regular, right? And doing that on a regular. That's what I said. That's a hater to me personally. You know what I'm saying? Because why do you always only have an opinion or what I can do better versus seeing what I'm doing now and be like, oh, sis, I really think you can do this, and I don't mind helping you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You never have a helping hand. You just got something to say.
I get that, yeah.
So, but, like I said, I feel like I'm rambling, but if you are that person.
Pause. We're not going to do this again.
I'm sorry.
We're not going to do this again. You're not rambling because you're simply giving your opinion and you're answering the questions. You did this the previous episode.
She going to correct me right on camera.
You did. And will, because you're perfectly fine. Like
I know we're having a conversation,
but you have value and you're adding value, so you don't have to be like, I'm rambling. No, you're giving a good perspective. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
But no, I just think it's levels to it, and you just have to see it for what it is. And me personally, I don't know. I see that a lot of people, like you said, in this generation have an offended heart, and I say that because nobody from the adults, from the adults who've been in the game for a long time, they can't even take criticism from the millennials, and they have a lot of valuable information and a lot of things that they can add that y'all didn't learn back in the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So because we learned it and we had to learn it because it wasn't taught to us, because of some of y'all old ways, it's kind of like, you can't tell me nothing. I ain't here. I did life longer than you. No, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're doing good in this area don't mean you're doing good in this area. You know what I'm saying? Because you may be doing good in this area, but okay, cool. I can learn that from you.
Right. Like, I think a lot of the older generation, they're great hustlers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're when you say hustle, that's them. You look it up, that's them. But when it comes to communication,
some of them.
Communication, sheesh.
Yeah.
I mean, I love y'all, but
you got to do better. And I would say, and I'm not gonna say for everybody. I'm not gonna say for everybody because, every older person is not like that.
Okay, I'm sorry, not to cut you. To say this, y'all can communicate, but you have to learn how to communicate differently. You can't say, well, this is how I am or this is who I am, and think your way of communicating is going to work for every single person you interact with.
Right.
Because it's not going to. I think learning that ability to adapt to different types of communication and understanding even is extremely important. And that's the one thing I know for a fact the older generation lacks. And they think it's their way is the right way, and it's the only way, you know, it can't work like that. That's why there's such a drastic, that's why they would say those millennials, no, you're just not willing to understand their perspective. And
I feel like there's so much division between like the older generation and the new generation.
For
like
sure.
we're here, like it's two walls and like we're just right here. You know what I'm saying? Like we understand certain things about each other, but at the end of the day, I just feel like it's so different. It's such a different like era right now, and I feel like millennials understand the older people though.
I think we do. They just don't want to. They don't want to accept that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because I feel like if we sit down with a lot of the older people and have conversations, it will blow their mind of how much we know and how much we can sit there and have an adult conversation with them. And that's why I can't have a conversation with a lot of older people or people, because honestly, my mindset is so different. Like, not saying like it's, okay, I'll say this, because I don't really want to get into that because that's not important. But I don't know, the way I think sometimes is just so different. So when I sit in the room with certain people, I'm just like, I don't want to talk about that because it's not adding value, or it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying, to me. So it's kind of like, when I say irrelevant, if it's not adding value to me, to you, or how we gonna improve, or how we gonna get this money, or how we gonna you know what I'm saying, I really don't care to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why a lot of people see me just
You know what's crazy though, I have a lot of, I'm not gonna say I have a lot of old friends, but I've made a lot of connections with like the elder generation, like people who are in their 60s and 70s, and for some reason they seem to gravitate towards me, and we have conversation. And for them, like, I have a lot of older friends on Facebook. Like, I don't even know where I met half of them from, but from interactions like Inquire, or from going out traveling, or from just different, I could meet somebody in the grocery store and they just I literally met somebody at Publix this morning, and it was just so weird. We had casual conversation. It was good energy, but I think about the type of elder people, or I keep saying older people that I have conversations with, and it's those who have gone through life and then overcame things, versus those who went through things and or are still going through things, or never figured out how to overcome those things. And those conversations look completely different. And I've had conversations with older people who I literally could not even sit 2 seconds with and just be like, this is hurting my brain. Like, this conversation this conversation is genuinely, like you said, have no value. And then you realize the amount of immaturity in a lot of older people.
Yeah, it's crazy. I experienced it a lot.
And pessimism, being like how pessimistic they are. That's a tough word. But it's mind-boggling that you can be so pessimistic, or I'm not trying to be rude, but just we'll say pessimistic, and then have so much opinion. I'm like, but who? I pity the fool. But who are you? You know what I mean? Like, this older generation has really taken the cake. Like, and I'm not saying that they're bad people, or that we can't learn from them. I've learned a lot from the older generation. Things to do and things not to do. When it stems from financial, to relationships, to mental, spiritual. I think that's why I don't even claim myself to be a Christian, because I've seen the older generation, how they've created a stigma for that identity that I don't want to be a part of. Right. But I am a believer. So that's one thing you're not going to do. You're not going to shun me from my God, but I won't join you in your hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that made sense, but
no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Definitely understand that.
Yeah. So I think, but that's for a different conversation. But I think something that we have to realize, that the goal, it's okay to be not enough, or it's okay to even be enough, but understanding that the goal is to always be better. Right.
There's always another level.
Exactly. And so the issue is, the moment you think you've made it is the moment you've settled. And that's where people don't, that's where people don't understand. Like, that's like a preacher saying, I think I heard a story that said he was preaching a sermon and all this stuff, and he felt like he did a horrible job. And then somebody came up to him and he was like, yeah, that was great. It really touched my heart, this and that. And he goes, wow, I can't believe that you're saying that, because I really thought I didn't do well. He goes, well, it's good you feel that way, because the moment you think you know it all, you're just going to be, excuse my language, an asshole behind the pulpit. Right. And he's like, you're just going to think you're a know-it-all. Right. And at this point, nobody's going to want to listen to you.
Right.
So the moment you think you've made it, or you've, you know, achieved it all, did you really?
Right.
You know? And I think that's what also pushes people to become the greatest they can be. I look at a lot of celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
If they had people in their corner telling them that they were enough, they would never be where they are.
Right.
So I think that's the type of skin you have to have in order to obtain that type of criticism
Mm-hmm.
and love, because that's
Right.
also not necessarily just, it doesn't have to be technically tough love.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there is a certain delivery you have to have with being giving criticism, or just speaking your heart and telling somebody, okay, well, I think you need to do this, that, and the third? Do you think there's a certain level of, or a certain way that you need to approach it, or do you just feel like it doesn't matter how it is said, approached, or presented?
I think it depends on the scene.
Okay.
And what you're saying it, because if we're in that moment and I see you're working, I'm not going to be like, you got to do better. But I would say simply input, I think this could be a different route you can take, or this is an option that you might want to consider. Now, but it also depends on the person.
Right.
So I would never give criticism, for example, to you the way I would to my sister.
Right.
Because that's two different type of people.
Right.
If I go to her, I'm like, no, I think you want to do this. I think you should do better. This, because you are better. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can do that. But I also understand the tone, understand the environment. I understand the person. But one thing I would never not do is tell somebody that they could do better, no matter who it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So understanding the delivery is extremely important, for sure, because then it won't be received well.
No. Okay. And I'm asking this because it's, like you said, celebrities and just different people. Like, I think I used to watch a show called Making the Band.
For sure.
Diddy,
That used to be a show.
and he
for
used
real.
to like go in on them. Like to the point, like, I feel like
that was
it was
a show
okay,
back then. I ain't gonna cap.
but it was like he was disrespectful in the sense of how he came off. Like,
for sure. That's like Hell's Kitchen.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I get it. Push people, but I don't think you got to traumatize them and push them at the same time.
But you know what's crazy? That works for some people.
It
That's
does.
what's weird to me. I don't know, but I don't know what kind of person they are, but it ain't me.
Right. And I'm like, but is that normal? It's like, is that normal? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's normal, or it could be normal. Like, that could be normal to some people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, in my mind, I don't see it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
I think
see
for
myself
me,
like yelling and cussing at somebody and telling them, calling them all kind of names.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to do I don't want to cuss y'all, but because people are legit do that and think they doing something. Like,
right.
no.
Well, okay, so I can say for myself, I've experienced that.
Right.
And it had a delayed effect, but it worked.
Right.
So initially, I was so emotional. I was crying. I was like, they don't care about me. And but then again, I also had to understand the person
Right.
who was delivering the message.
Right.
Or the criticism, we'll say. And knowing that, okay, cool. Does this person really mean harm to me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
But the delivery was absolutely terrible, for sure.
Right.
Am I able to receive that? No, but it may take time because I have to get over how I initially received it, my emotions. And then when I can get past that, I can see what they were saying.
Right.
So it may work, but it's delayed for sure for me. Now, some people
Gotcha.
may just shut them down completely. Like, that's not
what
going to
I'm
work at all.
saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, because it's like, even though it may work for some people, is that the correct way? You know what I'm saying?
There's no correct way.
Right?
I don't think there
Okay.
is. I don't think there's a correct way. I just think that's where I say you have to really learn. That goes back to that whole communication of your one way can't work for everybody.
Right. Got it.
You see what I'm saying? What are you
Yeah.
thinking?
I don't know, because I was raised different, and
sure.
because I was raised like everybody. I'm not saying everybody not a believer, but I always looked at things like in the eyes of God.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And to correct and love, and that's in the Bible.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
But if it's stern, doesn't mean it's not love.
No, you could be stern. I'm talking about doing all the
The name calling
disrespectful
and
stuff.
Okay.
Like, I don't think, if you say you're a believer, this is me personally.
Okay.
I don't think, some people be like, oh, I follow the Bible 100%, or, people got their, beliefs, so, well, the Bible is not 100%. But for me, reading the Bible and understanding the Bible in certain aspects, and God corrected in love, chastising in love,
Right.
it's kind of like he was stern, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he didn't have to do all that, because now you could be not only traumatizing that person, but like you say, you can delay it, but they got it.
Right.
But now they got to get over all this extra other stuff. So, I mean, it may not be we made it normalized that it's no perfect way to do it.
Right.
But okay, if they're not a believer, then they're going to do it their way. But if you're telling me that this is who you are, then of course I'm going to say, okay, well, this is how I used to be 100%, but I'm still in a sense this way too. Like, if you tell me you're a believer and you believe in God and God chastises in love, and you doing the total opposite, I'm like, you can't believe in what I believe in. This is me personally, because I'm just like, that's not who God is. But
also, you have to also take into account that everybody perceives God differently, in the sense of the root is the same, but how you said he chastises in love, their type of love may have their experience.
Doesn't mean that was right.
But their experience of love may have been different. Do you
through
see
life or through God?
Both, because how do they know? Okay, so what I'm saying is, I feel
like sometimes people chastise and they're the way they are because of life and how they were brought up. Not right, but okay, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, not to cut you. That goes back to, so if their experience of love is traumatizing or abusive or whatever, how do they know whether that's? It's not how do they know, but because that's what they know, it's like, okay, well, this is how I perceive love. Mm-hmm. But I still believe in God. I just haven't experienced anything other than this. Right. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I said. We normalized it.
Okay.
Meaning, okay, they mean well.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying my perspective. No, I get it. Like, if somebody would do that to me, I would like, that's not love.
Okay.
That's not what that's just my opinion, because I know how I was raised.
Right.
So, not saying they're wrong and they don't mean good, because it's just who they are and how they were raised. But their heart can be saying, okay, I believe, I'm a believer and I love this person, but this is how I come off. This is my way of presenting it. Yeah. But I don't mean no harm.
Got it. Yeah.
So I get it. It's like, in our society, we say there's no perfect way, but at the same time, we normalized it because of how we were raised and stuff like that. And that's okay. If everybody receives it different, that's cool, because everybody's not going to be offended by it. You know what I'm saying?
I think also look at the military. How are they encouraged? You know what I'm saying? In the sense, so I've experienced ROTC. So I've experienced ROTC in high school and in college. Mm-hmm. And it was more, it felt more like criticizing in college. Uh-huh. But at the end of the day, one guy, I remember one sergeant came to me and said, you know, we're so hard on you because we see you have the heart. Mm-hmm. And if nobody tells you, you're not going to know to push harder. Right. And you know how that stuck with me forever, because I was so far from achieving what everybody else was achieving. I was so beyond, like, my time for my mile was way off. Like, my push-ups were terrible, all this stuff. Like, it was really bad. If I had to test to go into the military right then and there, I was not gonna make it. Right. So, but at the end of the day, they were so, like, he literally came to me as we're literally running and I'm exhausted. He's like, you know, I come this hard on you because your heart is so different from everybody else's. He said, if anybody else was in your shoes, they would have gave up a long time ago. Right. And I was like, man, whatever, I'm tired. So, but at the end of the day, I sat on it and it played in my head all of that day. And it stuck with me till this moment, that I hear that even when I feel down on myself, I always remember, but you have the heart to do it. And that pushes me more than somebody coming, you got this, like, you can do that. Like, it's interesting what inspires me and what doesn't. Right. That whole, like, you got this, come on, like that. Okay, it works. Right. But somebody telling me something that really, like, touches me in a way that's like, wow, like, I didn't even think about that myself that way. Right. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? And I think the love of God did that a lot for me too, to see what he can do, to see how he's done it, and to see the way he has showed up for me in the ways no man can ever. Yeah. It has created a secureness in my heart that if I even leave this earth alone, I would still be satisfied. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And so to me, I've experienced God in ways that's like mind-boggling, but also so heartwarming. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I wish that everybody in their life will experience that at some point, because it's absolutely beautiful. But I think something with understanding, like, the whole saying of, like, you're not enough is also the judging yourself part and thinking if you're enough, if you're not enough. I know, like, the guy, it's interesting. So I've heard the contradictory of this. The guy in the audio was like, oh, well, maybe sometimes we should stop judging ourselves off of what we think, but based off of what we do. And I understood his explanation 100%. But then I've heard entrepreneurs say, you know, focus on what you think. You become what you think about.
Right.
So it's kind of contradictory, you know what I mean? But his point was, think about it this way. You may see somebody who's overweight and think like, damn, they big. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm just being real. Like, you'd be like, damn, I could never, or I would never let somebody get there, or just anybody. You can be like, damn, they look kind of weird. But you're thinking that in your mind, but in your mouth, physically, you would never say that out your mouth to that person. Now you may go home to your spouse or to your partner or whoever, your family, and say something, but they know who you are and they know your heart, so they're not going to perceive you as this judgmental person. But if you go and say that to that other person who is that, they're going to feel some type of way. But if you're thinking it doesn't necessarily make you a bad person because you didn't act on it. Right. Back to, you become what you think about. Mm-hmm. If I'm thinking of people this way, am I creating a judgmental behavior? Mm. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm mind boggled by that one statement, because there was so much validity to what he said. Yeah. And it kind of just made me not rethink, but want to see a different perspective, or to seek a different perspective. Not that I'm going to take on that belief, but just to more understanding. Right. Because, and then he may have meant just in that perspective of, you know, being so hard on yourself and knowing that you are enough in what you're doing, but there is a greater version of you. Right. You know, you don't have to judge yourself based off of what you're thinking, because you can say, you know, oh man, I wasn't good enough. Kind of back to that whole preacher guy, the making his sermon. He can think he didn't do enough, he didn't do well, but at the end of the day, you know, you're not a bad person. Your sermon has touched somebody. You just didn't know, you know. But I don't know. What do you think?
I can see how that can look like you're coming from a judgmental place. Like, if you always looking at people and then it's like, okay, you're repeating this in your head, but you're never saying it out to them. But you're going, like you said, you go home.
Like TikTok, I would never comment on videos. Yeah. I would never comment a thing I think on videos. Like, TikTok would send me straight to hell.
I'll laugh. Like, I'll put the laughing, or sometimes I might even, depending on the video, I'll put the laughing faces. Yeah, for sure. But like,
just to help them get likes. But I would never
body shaming, or like on something so like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Those
That's
videos of like
subject.
Certain, I'm not even gonna say that because then y'all gonna start judging me. But TikTok, y'all will send me straight to HE double hockey sticks.
But yeah,
I love it though.
Me too. It's very entertaining. But yeah, I would never like out publicly just say something crazy under somebody's pic. Now I'll laugh, but it depends on what the video is about. You know what I'm saying, or what the picture is about. Like, I'm not just gonna be out doing stuff like that, because they ain't gonna like, okay, well, really, like, because they'll clap back at you now.
Yo, TikTok is harsh, bro.
Clap back at you. But no, I can see how it can form that judgmental mindset.
Okay. What can?
When you said like when you're saying stuff about people, or you have it mentally, like, and you constantly do it, but you don't. You say you don't go home and tell your spouse.
No, you might
go home, but you won't say it. But you won't say it publicly.
But technically, you're still saying it. If you go home to your spouse.
Oh no, it's like you said. It's like you just gotta kind of ponder on that, because I don't want to say you're being judgmental, because at the end of the day, everybody got opinions and thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, you really just concerned. Like, dang, they need to lose weight. Like, I hope they get some help. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. And I just think sometimes people just really speak their mind. Some people really speak their mind. Yeah. They'll think it and say it.
Our previous president, prime example.
Yes. So it's kind of like,
I think about our previous president, Trump, and thinking about how tough he had to be on himself and how much criticism he received. Right. And how did he know? Because how he started in his career, you know, and to be such, like, his skin has to be so thick to be him. Like, when you really think about it, to be Trump. Your skin has to be nothing. But you know, I don't even think that's true. I think that he just, instead of that those judgmental thoughts he has, he just says them instead of.
No, I'm saying like he probably don't care about what people say about him. Like he just.
I think everybody does.
You think so?
I think everybody does. I think because everybody can be like, oh, I give no Fs. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you have to announce it, you give something. You know what I mean? Like if you even think it, like you are saying that to convince yourself that you don't have to.
Right.
You know, you're not saying it like, oh, that's really who I, because you wouldn't have to say that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think that, but to be him, I think there's probably such a level of taking all that judgment he received, but then also the amount of judgment he gave himself.
Right.
And it goes back to that tough criticism that how hard it was. It seems like he had a mentor that seemed like Chef Ramsay. Like to be him, you would need a mentor like that.
Right.
Because
they were very hard on him.
Very hard on him. But what it did, it made his skin so thick. But how thick? Maybe too thick to where he doesn't sympathize with people unless they're close to him.
Right.
Or he doesn't care for other people's emotions.
Right.
But he gets the job done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing I'll say. I don't really choose political parties anymore. I just choose who's doing right by us and who's not. And, you know, Facts. I love Obama. And he did some great things. These last few years
really did a turnaround for me. Like with Democrat, Republican, I'm just like, whoever get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may not agree with them, both with any of them 100%. But I just go based upon, you know, what's being presented and how they really helping the country and stuff like that. But yeah, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think about, because like Obama, he did a lot, but I feel like Trump did more. Personally, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
And it was more beneficial to the people what Trump did versus, yes, Obama created Obamacare as he was exiting the White House.
Right.
But then there were so many things that Trump did, and it may have been for his benefit. It may have been for, you know, to create more money, or because, you know, war creates money and da da da. So, but at the end of the day, it's like he still got the job done in the sense of helping healthcare and helping people, you know, persons with disability. Their funding went up, helping unemployment and all that stuff, getting those stimmies. I mean, y'all can't really talk about him if you spent those stimmies all up in Walmart and in these stores coming out with these coming out with these Prada shoes and these Birkins and these Balenciagas and all of that.
I don't even think one stimmy could buy a Birkin unless you went to DHgate.
I'm but for real though, like people really was judging him like, oh, F Trump, but yet you spending his money though.
You still taking that stimulus.
That's what saying. Oh, I don't like. I remember this one guy. He was like, oh, I don't like this type of food, but he devoured it. Like, it was just some guy in my family. He was like, oh, he don't eat Jamaican food, but he ate the whole plate. Like, come on now, that's the same. Like, you're just talking you're talking to make yourself seem so different. Right. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, I don't know. People are just weird to me.
You're just doing too much. Just
at the end of the day, enjoy the food. At the end of the day, just know that the moment you think you made it, you settled. Right. That's just the end all be all. Right. Because you are enough. But at the end of the day, you're not enough to be where you are, to where you want to be, only because you're not there yet.
Right.
That's just how I see it.
And just like being uncomfortable, because a lot of people, even if you get to a certain level in a certain space in your life, if you don't have this feeling that comes over you, because like I get it, like it's like an unselling feeling, like for sure. I'm not where I want to be, or I'm not selling, or I need more, like.
But then it's like, what are you doing to push yourself?
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, that's a whole nother topic of conversation, but it's still having that, and then along with what are you doing to push yourself to get to that next level, because some people really would get to a level and settle and be okay with it. They don't feel any kind of way. They just like, well, this is the life for me.
Like I remember one girl, and I think I said this in a previous podcast episode of she said that she couldn't do business with me because her husband said no, and he makes all the money and she's a stay at home, which wasn't by choice. It's just that I don't know what their situation was, but then a part of me was like, so this is what you're okay with? Like this is what you think you've made it because this is your situation?
Right.
Technically you got yourself a sugar daddy who really ain't your sugar daddy because you at home trying to feed the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not out here being flued out.
Right.
You at home trying to scrape up some some formula and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why is that okay?
Right.
Why is it not? And then it's like, why do you feel like somebody's judging you when they offer you an opportunity to help you become better?
Right.
Am I judging you or am I trying to help you?
No.
Because at the end of the day, we've done business with a lot of different kind of people.
Yes.
And to see the fact that, y'all, I'm not judging people, I promise you. But the fact that I've done business with people almost 2-3 years ago, they joined the business, they supposedly worked through the business, they left the business, and yet they're still in the same place they were before they started the business.
Still begging. And we're not judging anybody. It just goes to show, like,
no, you know what? Bump that.
Okay, we in.
If you doing it, me. It's you doing it.
Because that's the topic.
But not only that, like, I'm judging you because the things you said to me and the way you felt like I was forcing you to do business and this and that, when I genuinely, and you knew I was genuine because you said it so many times, but you came back and said to you, well, you went talking smack saying, you know, I felt forced and this and that.
Right.
You only felt forced because nobody ever in your life pushed you to do better. You only felt forced because you're used to people letting you settle. No. If you are ever in my life and in my circle, I would never ever let you settle because I would never let myself settle.
Right.
And then for one, you ain't gonna be walking around with me being envious of me because nobody else is pouring into you. You see what I'm saying? No.
That's how people become envious, because it's like, because you didn't choose to settle, because you chose to, you know, level up or get yourself to another level. Exactly. And they're still in the same spot, and they still in your circle. But for one, you can't be in my circle and you're not growing.
Exactly.
Anyway.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
That's uncomfortable.
That is uncomfortable.
Not only for you, but for me. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you watching me in my pockets.
Exactly. And it's like, you need to go get your own. You know what I'm saying? I can't help you. And that's the thing. I don't mind helping people and being there for people, but you're not finna be in my pockets counting my money or just trying to figure out what I got going on.
Now that you say that, it made me think about back to the business of we did business with people who I used to help them put food in their house, feed their kids, give them the money because they didn't have money to feed their kids. I helped them get money to make. I literally gave them money to make money in the business. It was Forex trading. We were trading in Forex, Okay, so then it was just a whole bunch of different other stuff. I let people stay in my house, be disrespectful in my home. We both did that. And then they turned around and said I was forcing them. And then they turned around and said they never wanted to do it, but to begin with. So pretty much what you're saying is you just wanted to use me because you saw I was making money.
That's what they said.
Now, who's really the bad person?
Exactly.
But you know,
let's
funny,
talk about it.
I never ever went back to those people. I never told them off. I never told them how they made me feel. I just dealt with it and said, okay, this is who people are. Right. And that's why the 1% is the 1%.
Exactly. And that's why you're still blessed, because you didn't harper on it. You didn't say, oh, well, because you did this to me, I'm going to bash you. Or I'm going to talk. No, you chose to just be like, okay, cool.
I see you for who you are.
Charge it to the game. I see you for who you are. I know where to place you. God bless you.
Literally.
And go about your business. You
know what's funny? One of them had the nerve to ask me for money just recently, but haven't spoke to me in almost 2 years.
That's what I said. You gotta stop begging. you have to stop. Like, you have to be stopped. Because no, that's sad. Like, if you are still in the same position that you were 3 years ago,
you're not doing anything.
What are you doing? That's scary.
That's weird. How can you even be okay with that? Even the slightest. Like, me, I'm uncomfortable being where I was last month.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, oh my gosh, I would be miserable.
Right.
It's to the point where when is enough?
Yeah.
You know, and when are you going to call it? When it's going to take something traumatic happening in your life. And even so, some of them were literally evicted and still chose not to change their situation. We helped them find somewhere to live or stay with us. And it's kind of like, why is that not enough? Why does it take the traumatic for you to make change? Why not just wanting more be enough?
Right.
Why not just say, okay, you know, I'm not going to allow myself to get to the rock bottom. Even if you've experienced it before, okay, you learn from it. I'm not going to allow myself to get there anymore. I'm just going to continuously work harder to, you know, increase my income, increase my mindset. Because really and truly, if you increase your mind, your money's going to increase.
Right.
That's just how it works. That's how it worked for me. That's how I've seen it work for a lot of entrepreneurs and people who have millionaires, multimillionaires. The more you increase your mind, the more you increase your income, because you're now creating more ways and thinking of more ways to bring in other streams of income.
Right.
Y'all heard it in my last episode or 2 episodes ago. You know, you have to have multiple streams of income in order to be successful in this life. And listen, that job may be cool and you maybe love it and it may be your passion, but at the end of the day, you still have multiple bills you got to pay.
Right.
And, you know, and even just a lifestyle you want to live.
And it doesn't sum up completely who you are and your gifts and what you can put out. You know what I'm saying? And if you have gifts and other things and goals that you have that you want to put out, put it out. You can make money from it, but you also love to do it at the same time. So that's a win-win all around. But going back to what you're saying, like, that goes back to your why. You know what I'm saying? For sure. I know we're not talking about it, but
that makes sense. Yeah.
If you have a why and you know what you're going towards and why you're going towards it, it helps you push harder. But I don't think a lot of people know what their why is. They say,
that's so true.
They say it's,
My
my family. And
The BS.
no, that was one of my whys, but really and genuinely, I had to sit and ponder on it. Like,
but can I ask you a question though?
Mm-hmm.
How can your family be your why if you don't know what you want?
right, and that's what I said. But it's part of my why.
No,
but
I'm not trying to disregard the fact that that's your why. It's definitely a part of your why.
right,
But there's no way that's your number one.
no, and
You see what I'm saying?
and that's what I said. I said I had to ponder on that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first.
You have to be. I was
You
just
know
about to
what I'm
say you
saying?
got to be selfish.
You have
with
to
it.
be
Yeah.
selfish, because I would go hard for other people. My thing was I used to go hard for other people and not
Mhm.
myself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I would put people first, to where a few times I had to start over. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, why am I like that? And it's not. I genuinely have a heart for people, and I genuinely want to see other people win. But baby, you gotta win first. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
I think
gotta.
that's why I think what I love about our relationship is that and that you allow me to do is that you allow me to tell you that, look, I love your heart, but
Yeah.
you got to put you first.
Yes,
like,
and I appreciate
you take,
that so
you
much.
know what I mean, and you take it in because I see what you have done for people and
Right.
how they've shitted on you, and
Yeah.
I see how that's gonna continuously bless you, but it can also continuously harm you.
Exactly.
And so I'd rather force you and not force you, but continuously, motivate you to say, look, put yourself first. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, me, whoever. Continuously put yourself first, because
Right.
at the end of the day, when you really think about it, when you go after things in life, it's mainly because it's something you want from it.
Right.
So if you're saying, okay, it's for my family, it's not really like an incentive for you.
Right.
It's like, okay, it's my family. I want to support my family. Cool. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like rewarding yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the reward first? And then it's going to be supporting your family, because you have to, at the end of the day, you have to reward yourself first to continuously keep going.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like a mouse and cheese. You know, you're not going to get the mouse of the trap if you stop putting the cheese out. So it's kind of, but I get it. I get the family concept, because for sure I will, even though my family is doing a lot better for themselves, there is a point where I want to be able to do things for my parents where they don't have to pull out their card or
Right.
or they can be flued out because I paid for it or something like
Right.
that. Like, I don't want it to be, or even vice versa. Like, if my partner's family, I want to be able to take them places and,
Right.
even do a family vacation or whatever.
Right.
It's things I want to do, but again, I have to continuously keep motivating myself to push myself to go further. And even so, sometimes just being reminded,
Yeah.
and sometimes just sitting with yourself or having somebody that's
Right.
closest to you saying, look, I see you're doing great. You're amazing, but you can do more.
Right.
You can do more. Even though there's only 24 hours in a day, Elon Musk has the same amount of time.
Right.
Beyonce has the same amount of time. Jay-Z, Rihanna, all these billionaires have the same amount of time. So what's really my excuse?
Right.
And people will look at that statement and be like, well, they have the privilege to do this. They have the ability. You don't know that.
Right.
You don't know where they started. And that's the issue. They're looking at where they are now versus where they started.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue with what they're doing. They're looking at where they are specifically, not even those celebrities and multimillionaires,
Right.
but you're looking at where you are right now. You got to look at where you're going. And I think that's what really pushes me, because I get excited for the future. Like,
Yeah.
I live in the future. You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
Like, I could be losing everything right now, but I still be excited but I learned that through the love of God,
Mm-hmm.
because I see what he has done for me,
Right.
and the things I've spoken and prayed for, he has given me. So all I got to do is just keep talking to him,
Exactly.
keep praying, and I know it's going to
walk
come.
in it and continue to do the work.
Right. And whatever
Because
comes with it is going to come with it.
Faith without works are dead. Like, you can expect a blessing, or you can't expect certain things to come to you. You got to go get it.
Facts.
At the end of the day, like, we can pray the house down and be like, Lord, send me this, that, and third. But if you're
Right.
not doing the work and putting the action behind it, while also believing,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and also seeing yourself already there, then like it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's very important. I think that's very important, having your why and figuring out really what that is, what that looks like,
Yeah.
and not surface level stuff, but like what is really your why, what's
For
gonna
sure.
drive you, what's gonna push you. So that's
I
important.
agree. But this was a great conversation.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. I always love to be here.
Y'all, I appreciate Zhanyr coming back, giving us her opinion, her love, her just putting out her experience as well. And I appreciate y'all for tuning back in to the Real Talk. And just know that, the goal is to always be better.
Right.
You may be enough for where you are right now, but for where you want to go, you're not enough. Okay.
There's always
And don't take
another
that in a
level.
rude, exactly. And don't take that in a rude way. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're going to see y'all at the top. What they say, because the bottom is way too crowded.
Easy. Okay.
Throwback. If you know, you know.
Right.
But wow, that was the things we used to do, man.
God. Stop it.
Wow. Cherry Scream on 3. 1, 2, 3. If you're watching this and you know what we're talking about, please,
if you know, you know.
Drop some laughing emojis.
If you know, you know.
Right.
Bro.
Drop some fire and laughing emojis because you know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. See y'all on the next episode. Be breezy.